Lance and Steven in the morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love hearing that little. It's my favorite.
We're still doing this.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong that I take so much pleasure of hearing that little ditty?
No,
'Cause I
you
enjoy it.
should take pride in the.
It makes me
things you do.
smile every single time.
Well, good morning, our two viewers and others who will watch later.
Hey,
you know, we still
are
do
we the
this.
viewers? Does it count us? No, there's only one. So
That's so fun. I found a great. I should pull up this picture as something we talk about. But yeah, you keep talking, Steve.
I'll keep talking. Well, welcome to all who will join us. Oh, the two people who joined in have left already.
Yeah.
We could not keep their attention past 20 seconds. That's how we roll around here.
Yeah.
It's a test of endurance. Well, we want to welcome you if you're watching, whether you're watching live, watching later, watching at home, at work, during your coffee break. Grab a coffee and join us. We're going to chat a little this morning about a potpourri of things, a veritable soup of ideas.
A veritable soup of ideas. What are we talking about today?
Well, I was just talking to you before we started. I said today feels kind of like Bilbo Baggins, the Bilbo Baggins quote from Tolkien, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. That's how it feels.
That's how it feels. To unpack that feeling for us, Steve.
Well, you were looking for a picture, and so I don't know where this is going to lead us. Who knows? We hit go live, and we don't know where it's going to go from there.
Yeah. And I think people need to understand. Well, first of all, people need to comment because that really fuels us.
Oh,
but also,
definitely.
We just do this because we like it.
True. And some mornings we have a really clear agenda of things we want to do, and other mornings it's like, well, we could talk about that. We could talk about this.
Yeah. This is the picture I was thinking of. That when we do our
Thanks for watching my stream, everyone.
When we do stuff, this is sometimes like,
that's good,
man. Especially when we were doing like those like midweek devos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're like sometimes
I love this so much. It's just me. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, it's just you.
Oh man.
So good. So good.
It's so hard to break it into the streaming game, you know.
Oh, that's it. You gotta. It is what it is. But like I said, we do it because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if we had 0 viewers, we would still enjoy it.
Yeah, we still sit and have coffee and talk about things.
We're gonna do it anyway. Might as well hit the record button while we're doing it.
Yeah. So if you're watching, please comment and give us something to talk about.
Yeah. So we did have one thing we wanted to talk about. You're going on vacation very soon.
Yeah.
What's your plans?
We're going down to southern Alberta. We are going to stay at an Airbnb in the Crow's Nest Pass and be in the mountains and go on little trails and hang out and just be away from Grand Prairie for a bit. Yeah, it'll be fun. So yeah, taking the family, going down and doing that. So do that for a week and then come back and And then it's like school.
So-
Owen starts kindergarten. So
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. That's a big deal.
yeah. So big
So-
changes.
The Crow's Nest Pass. Is that what you said?
Hmm.
But where is that? I'm
That's-
bringing up a map here.
Right in the
Crow's
mountains west of Lethbridge,
Is it near Crow's Nest Lake?
possibly. I don't know the area super well. Danica grew up there for a bit, so that's kind of why we go down.
Crow's Nest Range is a mountain that's there.
Probably. People do like to name things in the area in areas similar names, you know?
Yeah, so it's west of Lethbridge, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it here on the map.
There you go. So that's exciting for me.
Okay.
Everyone's been gone this summer, and now it's my turn.
Now it's your turn.
Hey, I think my wife's watching.
Oh,
I
is that-
can't. She is Facebook.
She's
user.
Facebook user? Hello, Facebook user, most likely Danica.
I think. Was Danica in that? Oh no, it could be my mother-in-law.
Oh, it could be your mother-in-law.
Yeah, could be.
She's
Hi,
watching
Lorraine.
the mine disasters.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I heard this story, and it wasn't Danica. It was Darian, and no, it's me. I can't.
No, it's me,
Oh,
Danica.
it is Danica. Hi,
No, it's
Danica.
me.
Hi. Yeah, see, she's reacting. Disasters of the Century. It's a documentary. Look it
Oh.
up. Yeah, there you go.
So there was a mine that collapsed down there.
Yeah. Google it.
Google it.
Frank Slide, mine disasters. Thanks for watching, hun. That's
Mm.
nice.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
It says on our end Facebook user because you're watching through the CFA community group, so you have to accept. There should be a link to accept StreamYard to use your profile
StreamYard,
and
yeah.
stuff. But yeah, there's it's a beautiful area. That's actually where Danica and I went for our honeymoon too. We
Okay.
rented a cabin in the mountains there, and yeah, just went on hikes and hung
So
out and explored. And
you grew up in Rocky Mountain House, correct?
yes,
So where's Rocky Mountain House in relation to Crow's Nest Pass and this area?
north,
Okay.
quite a bit north. Yeah, because Rocky Mountain House is west of Red Deer.
Yeah. And this is west of Lethbridge, and Lethbridge is much further south.
So still by the mountains there, naturally, since they
Yeah.
call it Rocky Mountain House. Yeah, where is it? So if I look, I'm looking at a map.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's almost like
Directly.
north of
Yeah.
where Crow's Nest Pass would be.
Okay.
Just if you found Rocky Mountain House just west of Red Deer and then went directly south to near
Nice.
the American border, you'd see Lumbrick and Bellevue. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when we were driving back this time, so we've only been to Calgary twice. We were there last.
14, Danica.
So we were in Calgary last year and then again this summer. Oh, that's an interesting fact. It's funny. I never knew about that.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey.
It is the largest disaster in Canada until the Halifax explosion. That was in World War I, I think, the Halifax explosion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was a ship loaded down with gunpowder and stuff. And it was on fire and it blew up and just destroyed the downtown core of Halifax.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Um,
And my wife was in the documentary about
mm,
the mine disaster. So there you go. Bragging
how
rights.
how did that happen, or like what was the?
Yeah, Danica, you'll have to tell us how you ended up in the documentary
It's a
about it.
documentary. Were you there? Did
I think well, she was her and Darian were young when they lived down there. And I think it was just as they're filming the documentary, they were kids, people
and there was
in the
just people
community that
that
they
lived
could
there.
use. Yeah. But I don't know if I can't remember exactly, Danica, if that was you just were like in the background or if you like were
Interviewed.
like played like a background characters in a scene or something. Okay, she says, so as a kid, one of the reenactors.
He was one of the reenactors. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. That's my wife, always doing the drama.
Yeah. And so the difference between reenacting and acting is reacting, and reenacting is reenacting.
You got it.
Yeah.
You figured out those words.
That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like if you I don't know, I imagine you can see pictures of it, but if you look at like the Frank slide, if yeah, you can see like just the whole side of the mountain just fell right down. I think this is a picture of it.
So is there a place where you can go to the former site of that or whatever, or is there still a mine there? Or
I don't remember. I know there's like yeah, it fell on the town of Frank.
oh wow, okay.
So the whole town got
The whole town got crushed.
I don't know if there's like I think there's a mine tour you can do there, if I'm remembering. I don't know that we've done it, but
that's
there.
really small on my screen. It's probably better for other people.
Gotta get back.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, you can kind of see. Yeah, if it fell down. Yeah, Danica says you drive through the whole town and it's still under the rubble.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But there's like down like it's a couple hour drive, but there's like the Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump down in that region, which is a really awesome museum that anyone down there should check out about Native American history in the area. There's in Crow's Nest Pass area, there's like sites for like the old when they did the mining, the coal mining, like where they refined and transported it and stuff. You can go walk around through that stuff, and they have like signs kind of talk about what all the different things are, and it's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, Mary is saying there's an information center, but no mine tours. They probably don't want people going underground in places where
no
things.
So is there still mines there now, like active mines?
I'm seeing in the news they're talking about trying to open up a mine again in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people that are for that and opposed to that.
For it and again it.
Yeah, for it and again it. Yeah, but that's you've now tapped the extent of what I know and remember.
It's all new information to me. So
yeah. So yeah, that's where we're going for our little holiday this next week.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I started to say we were when we drove up from Calgary. So we've only been to Calgary twice, and both times we took the route going down through Edmonton, right? So a little bit of a longer route. But coming back, we decided to take the shorter route, we'll say, through the countryside. And that's the one where you come up through Sylvan Lake.
Oh yeah.
Man alive, that place that's a large, like, beautiful lake there.
Yeah, it's where all the rich people live.
Well, I was saying to Janice, I said, like, I bet you the cost of houses here are expensive. And so when I came home, I had to Google MLS just to see if there's anything for sale, just to see what the prices were. And it's like, yep, yeah, you're gonna pay $750,000 or more for just a regular house here.
Yeah, there's like so many of those houses back right onto the lake and everything.
Yeah.
So it's everyone with boats and like, yeah, it's crazy. But
yeah, I mean, because we've said, like, there's no real great swimming lakes or whatever. It's kind of like muddy, boggy kind of lakes that are around here. But that looks like a legit nice lake.
But I can't remember exactly, but I'm bad at remembering things, but a part of me wants to say that Sylvan Lake was partially manufactured, but I can't remember.
Like there's a dam or something there?
Or like they enhanced it or dug out more. I don't know. I'm probably way off. But Marcelo's watching, as always. Yeah, our geography. Well, so here is why Danica and I wanted to go to the Crow's Nest Pass on our honeymoon. Because one, I mean, didn't have money to do much else. but two, and mostly is like, why spend a bunch of money to go to like a resort in Mexico when I can enjoy the beauty in our backyard in our own province and in Canada and stuff like that. So yeah, just trying to appreciate stuff that's right by us, right? And
I mean, there's a lot. Like this is just, we're just talking about the province of Alberta. I mean, when you talk it's Canada and what you can see and experience and whatever, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we drove across when we moved up here, from Newfoundland to Alberta, drove the whole way. And I mean, we fast tracked it. There's no doubt. I mean, you can take your time and explore stuff, but I mean, we just kind of went. We did some stops along the way until we hit Toronto because we had family and friends that we were visiting and stuff along the way. But I mean, once we left Toronto, we just drove, and I mean, we did it in 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 days. But I mean, you can go quicker, drive all night, whatever, or I mean, you could take weeks and just see stuff, like it's crazy. I mean, the amount of land and what there is around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about growing up in a place that you just don't appreciate the beauty quite as much.
Oh, totally. I totally know what you're saying there.
Yeah. I remember
I mean, even that, so you grow up in a place and you see things, and there's things that you like. So for example, for me, we grew up in Newfoundland in a little town called Grand Falls, Windsor, 15,000 people or whatever, but there was a swimming hole like 10 minutes outside town. You gotta kind of do a little hike through the woods, and a lot of people know about it. But I mean, this was the swimming hole. This is where we went. It was what you did. But there are people that grew up around that area that had never been there, and so it's funny. We went swimming with my cousin and her husband when we were back this summer, and he had said his first time ever being there. So he'd grown up 40 minutes from there. His first time ever going to that swimming spot was the year before. And then the particular, like, there's different locations because it's like it's like a brook that flows down through, and there's a series of waterfalls and different
Oh,
natural
cool.
swimming holes, right? And so there's multiple different places where you can go, and I mean so we took him up to what's called Second Falls, and he had never been up there before, to that particular spot. And you grow up in a place and you don't even realize what's right there sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm going to show you the picture I took on my holidays of this place. So, I mean, this is at the top of what's called First Falls, looking down towards what we call the landing, right?
Mm.
I mean, it's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so this particular area here is not great for swimming, but you can. I mean, the water down there is deep enough that you can swim. It's not great for swimming, but it's still swimmable. And you go down towards the landing, and that's more of a wading area for kids. But there's this part there where it's fairly deep as well. But you go to Second Falls, which is the great swimming spot. But there's these beautiful waterfalls and everything. It's just fantastic.
That's cool.
And you grow up there, but some people just don't even realize it's there. And so I'd say the same thing around here too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up Rocky Mountain House, and how many times do you think I actually went to the mountains?
Yeah.
I think twice.
They're right there.
Yeah. And I lived there from like grade 4 till, well, beyond graduation. So yeah. But well, and I always remember my mom told a story because she grew up in Ottawa, and she tells about how she lived for a time like right near the Parliament building. She'd walk by it to go to school.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've never been to the Parliament building.
Did the tour around or whatever?
Yeah,
No?
because like just right there. But I get that. It's like, or there's like this piece of your brain that's like, I'll go there. I could go there anytime.
Mm.
And then you move away or something, and you're like, oh yeah, people travel the world to like see some of this stuff.
Yeah.
People come from across the world to go to Jasper. And,
yeah.
My whole life it's been like, yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, it's funny, right? I mean, the first time we went to Jasper, we were like, this is amazing, because and like you said, you grow up there and you don't necessarily realize what you have right there.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, trees and mountains and trails and little streets. Like, yeah, I see that lots of places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the community we lived in before we moved here, our backyard, we had a backyard, and then it dropped off right to the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
And so you get up in the morning, you look out, there's the Atlantic Ocean right there. And there's people I don't think that can fathom that. And we just, it's just the ocean. We walk out the street a couple of houses down, and then down a path, and you're down to the wharf, and you can,
Yeah. It's like we've never truly experienced fresh seafood.
Yeah.
Because we don't live in those places.
Yeah.
Seeing Vancouver is really nice. So yeah, lots of cool things to do in Canada before you travel the world.
Yeah.
Plus the world scares me. So
you talked about Ottawa election coming up.
At 28 minutes in, you want to start talking about the election?
No, I'm just saying there's an election coming up. Do you want to talk about that? Who are you voting for?
Is that appropriate to ask people anymore?
Why wouldn't it be?
I feel like that's something.
No, that's a secret ballot. That's none of your business.
Well, it's funny because I mean, I don't care about telling you, but you don't want to. I don't want to just throw those things out on the internet and have to then deal with people's comments.
Well, I mean, and we've talked about this. We did a whole show on this about the polarization,
Yeah.
right? That we see.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure we'll see more of it now during this election as well.
Mhm.
More polarization.
I'll definitely say this though about politics is I've yet to experience in my in as much as I've been aware of politics my whole life, I've yet to experience a premier or a prime minister that is fairly universally loved by people.
Well, so the funny thing is, I did. So
You did.
In Newfoundland, Danny Williams, man, he had the highest approval ratings, I think, of any premier ever.
Yeah.
It's like 80-something% approval ratings.
That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, they loved him. They love that guy. And the funny thing is, I mean, now that it's all said and done, yeah, there was things that weren't great, and he definitely did some things that. But while he was there, everybody loved him, or 80-something% of people, and even that will tell you, okay, even the most loved premier still got 20% of the population not in support of him.
Well, and here's the thing: is that I don't know that it's possible, because at some point people are just not going to like things that happen. I mean, that's all ethical stuff aside. And Nicole is saying Alberta loved Ralph Klein, but
until they didn't, right? Until they didn't.
Well, and I've talked to people in like public services, like schools and stuff, who are like, yeah, he balanced the budget by. And now we're trying to catch up on education and infrastructure.
Well, and so this is the thing: you're not going to please everybody. You're not going to do everything, and I don't know. I mean, it's a hard. Politics is a hard game. I had somebody when I was in Newfoundland. We were talking politics at somebody's house. It was like an anniversary thing I was invited to or whatever, and got talking politics. And somebody said, "You should run for politics," and I'm like, no, I like people way too much to run for politics.
Yeah,
because I don't know, like I don't think it's a hard. I mean, we can lament how hard it can be being pastor sometimes, but man, politician, it's a whole other realm.
Well, I can't imagine trying to make decisions about a budget for. I have a hard enough time managing my own budget. I can't imagine being on in a group of people who's like, hey, we have to figure out how to deal with the budget. Oh, and we're like billions of dollars in debt. But
well,
you can't just not spend money on your people.
Well, the funniest thing is it's easy to sit in your chair and talk about what needs to be done or whatever. But I guarantee you, if you were in that role, it's not as clean cut as you think it is.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think for me, try to think about that a lot to temper my, like, if ever I do feel like what's going on about like politicians or whatever, I try to temper it with that. I can't even imagine what forces are at work there that you have to deal with, and even like how much of the story am I getting really, like, because it's, you can't imagine a news outlet that has no bias.
Well, everybody's got their opinions on stuff, and it filters through, and then we hear it and we have our opinions on it, and that filters through again, and then social media, and it's just this weird opinion cycling machine where I don't know, right? It's getting harder and harder to discern.
My big pitch to people on politics would be try to be informed. Don't just vote away because that's just how you've always done it or whatever. Like, actually get to know the issues and stuff and the people.
And you're allowed to disagree. You can vote for someone. You're allowed to vote for someone that you disagree with half of what they say.
Yeah. You're not electing. Danica found this. Someone shared a post, and Danica found it and really loved it, but it's your vote is not a marriage proposal or something like that. I forget it, but it was something pithy like that, where it's
Right.
like you need to remember that when you're voting for someone, you're not like, okay, I'm wholeheartedly like I'm team
Behind
so
them.
and
Yeah.
so behind. It's and I think I'd add to that when you're coming to an election, like as Christians especially,
Yeah.
our belief, and I just read your post on this, Steve, about like at the end of the day, we recognize that ultimately, like God's the one that's in control and all this stuff, and I'm not basing me being okay and the salvation of the universe or whatever on whether Trudeau or O'Toole or whoever becomes prime minister. Like they're not the messiahs. And so my vote isn't about like, oh man, I better vote for the right person. It's I think a lot of different platforms and a lot of different people can have different reasons for why they're really drawn to whichever, and we can all get along.
Yeah. No, and I mean, and this is one thing that I did notice, and I've noticed more and more. Kelsey, yes, an amen to
something in there.
Yeah. So let's use the biggest lightning rod of our generation, Donald Trump, as the fodder for this discussion.
Who?
Donald? The Donald?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Okay. So that's fantastic. It's the best ever. The following that he received from the evangelical church is mind-blowing to me. It's mind-boggling to me because they gave him carte blanche. They basically said, yep, you're in, and then we're going to support everything you are and everything you do and all that kind of stuff.
You said you maybe read the Bible? Well, anything you do is okay. Because
yeah. And because they agreed with a couple of his policies, right?
Yeah.
You can agree with a politician's policies and get behind that, but that doesn't mean everything they do is gospel, right? And you're allowed to say, no, that's wrong. I don't agree with that. But for some reason, it's like, no, it's all or nothing now. It's,
yeah.
And none of us are all or nothing people.
I'd also say that there are policies of his that widespread Christians got behind on, that I would even question the legitimacy of those issues.
Yeah.
Really liked.
Yeah. But I wonder if because they felt we've got to support this guy. And I don't know, because I'm not American, so I don't understand the political realm there. But my fear is that I see that trickling into Canadian politics as well. Because listen, I am not ashamed to say that I have not voted Justin Trudeau, but I'm not ashamed to say that I voted Liberal in the past because I actually agree with some of their policies. I disagree with a lot of their policies in the current situation, and it's not necessarily the Liberal Party I voted for in the past. I've voted NDP in the past.
I've voted across the spectrum.
Yeah,
I might go green this year.
I haven't voted green. I have not voted green yet.
They have this thing, I think, about canceling all student loan debt.
You're off behind that.
I can get behind that. Whatever else you do.
Yeah. Well, and so this is the thing, right? I mean, it's not a simple matter of if you vote this, you're Christian, and if you vote this, you're not Christian. Which is what you're trying. I've heard that rhetoric, and that's just.
Well, yeah. I know people that be like, if you're not voting conservative, you're not.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but that doesn't mean I just buy into everything the Conservative Party says. And that's where I think it is really about become informed. Think about people's lives and experiences beyond just your own,
Mhm.
and the issues they're dealing with. And yeah.
So what's
Don't be
funny
married.
is,
You're not marrying the party you
yeah,
vote for, or the politician or prime minister or whatever.
yeah. And so when I've done the like those where you stand, right? Like then it kind of puts you in a political position or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I've done that in every major election, and I don't need to do it anymore because it's the same thing every time. I am socially conservative but fiscally liberal, which is interesting because I would have said I was fiscally conservative, but I'm not. Obviously, my beliefs of how we should be spending our money and how we should be using our money lean a little bit towards the socialist side, right? And for all people who say, "Oh, socialism is terrible," I appreciate that I can go to my doctor and not have to mortgage my house, remortgage, or
Yeah. I think wherever you're at, because I would definitely lean more to the socialist side of things. But man, every time you have a baby and don't pay $20,000 to $40,000, you're socialist in your fiscal attitude.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And so
every time you're like, man, it's so nice I don't have to pay for that.
Do I want to see a socialist government? No, but I'm okay with a socialist democracy. You know what I mean? Which is really what Canada is.
Here's the hard thing is that we try to create these categories for things, right? But it's so hard to because even take any party and it's not as clear cut as like, well, we're going to be socialists and we're going to not be socialists, and it's not clear cut like that. It's what are the issues and what do we need to do to navigate, and what are people wanting, and
and in a democracy it gets even harder because as a politician in a democracy, your job is not to do what you want to do. I think some of our politicians need to be reminded of that.
Yeah,
but your job is to do what the people are saying. Now, here's the problem. You can't get everybody to agree on stuff. So you've got to listen to, okay, what are the majority of the people saying? And then there's times even the majority can be wrong.
What? Mobs of people can be wrong, Steve?
They could be wrong. And so, but in a democracy,
human history has never shown that to be true.
Then what do you do, right? I mean, because this is what it is. It's the will of the people. And what if the people are wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm going to go there a little bit in my sermon, but
yeah. When people can't even agree on the direction the Star Wars franchise should be taking, good luck trying to get them to agree on the direction people's lives.
That's going to affect your day in and day out lives. Yeah.
But you know what? I thought about this. This is just a random thought, but I've thought about it a lot. I made the joke to you the other day, actually, of like, man, we should just have a king. Go back to having a monarchy.
Go back to the king.
Go back to the days where it's like, man, we hate this king, but we gotta live with it. No, but the thought of like, I've often thought like every 4 years we turn over government essentially, or at least risk turning over. But in reality, it's been like it turns over. And I keep thinking like, 4 years is like not enough time to really like make traction on good plans, and maybe not even good plans, but any plan.
Well, How long does it take to do anything?
Yeah, but then the reality is it's not even 4 years. It's they don't meet to do stuff in the summer. So you have less than 4 years. And then the last like 2 years is almost entirely spent on how do we like pre-campaign so we can get in. But yeah, I think like we should up it to 8 years or something, and just like even if you don't love the party, just like at least that's time to let plans happen. It's like we're gonna put our money into building roads, and then we get half build roads, and then it's like, well, no, or the education system. I saw like it's like, hey, we have this whole revamped education thing, and then a new party comes in like, well, we're scrapping anything the old party did, so now we're going to do a revamp.
Yeah, and it leads to political pandering and
Yeah.
spending money to get people to vote for you in certain areas, and it just becomes all that, and it happens every 4 years and
Yeah.
whatever.
But
Which-
this is
which is not
politics.
helpful. It's not helpful, you know. But that's the downfall of a democracy, right? But I'd rather that than the Taliban, you know.
Oh, yeah, no, it's just that those are the realities of trying to, well, and this is something like you said earlier, in us working at a church, running groups of people and stuff like that, man, how we know how hard it can be to direct people towards anything.
Yeah.
So how much more to run a nation? Yeah. No, whenever I've heard, I remember like in my earlier years, I'd hear like young teens or young adults like just talking about how stupid government is and politics, and like they're never gonna vote because this is all stupid. I'm like, I feel that's so, like, I mean, yeah, there's corruption and all that stuff, sure, but like, you don't know how hard it is. You're not in that role, and especially if you don't like it, like you not voting or not trying to be a part of that process, that's not helping anyone.
No.
You're just griping about it and doing nothing. And yeah, so yeah, that's our pitch on politics, I guess. Hey,
It's a murky water. It's not as clear cut as
Yeah.
we would like to think it is, and and whatever you vote, I am not your enemy. I mean, honestly, that's what we've got to. It's sad we've got to say that, but it feels like that's what it's coming to.
Yeah, and we need to not be that way. It's almost like we need to love people
I know.
as ourselves,
Yeah.
and like try to listen and understand them.
It's like almost as much as it depends on you, live at peace with one another. It's like, I don't know.
That sounds stupid. Who said that?
That's-
Where'd you get that stupid idea?
Oh well, we're not going to be back next week.
No,
So
I'm gone, and I'm not gonna be able to Skype in or whatever. So
yeah. So people are going to have to feed off of our wisdom from this week for the next 2 weeks.
that's right. Yeah. All right. It was fun chatting. Thanks. Covered a wide range of topics, from vacation to coal disasters to politics.
Swimming holes in Newfoundland to
Swimming holes.
politics.
You guys take care. Have a good week, good couple weeks, and see you in September.
We will be back before Labor Day, right? You're back the first week of September, right?
I think so.
So we'll be back that Thursday, whatever.
Yeah.
The Thursday before Labor Day weekend.
Awesome.
We'll see you all then.
Toodles.